What's a commitment? A commitment is a promise to yourself, right? A promise that doesn't change. And actually, it's deeper than a promise. It's with action. It's a reason, a deep-rooted reason. And some of us were going into this year setting goals, and I'm going to tell you right now, goals are cool, but you need to live by certain standards in your life. What's the reason why you have to? What's the reason why you have to? Whatever it is. What's the reason why you have to heal? What's the reason why you gotta change? What's the reason why you gotta start that business? What's the reason why you gotta take care of this? What's the reason? When the reason is strong enough, the struggle, the opinions, the setback, the failure, the inconvenience will never be great enough. When the reason is great enough, those things will never be strong enough. And for too many times in our life, including myself, we give too much power to the things that shouldn't have power over us. And so I need you to be locked in right now. I need you to really look yourself in the mirror and really make a decision, a real choice to say, you know what, I'm going to get the most out of my life, because this is what I want to tell you. Develop a theme for your life. What's the theme for your life? And I want to just say this as a side note. To the people who are going to conquer through 2022 and not make 2022 like 2021, 2020, 1999 for some of y'all, 1986, repeating the same year. For those that's really going to make a difference and a change this year, you know what? They already made up in their mind how they're going to respond. When inconvenience shows up, they made up in their mind how they're going to respond. When the plan doesn't go the way they planned it at the beginning of this year and real life shows up, they already made up in their mind how they're going to respond. Where I separated myself from a lesser version of myself to the version of myself that I deserve to be. Where I separated myself from all the things I was settling for to a place where I'm no longer settling for the things that I don't deserve in my life. You got to make up in your mind how you're going to respond. How you're going to respond, because most people don't. And when struggle hits their face, they respond with fear. They respond with worry. They shut it down because everything isn't going the way it's supposed to go. Newsflash, it's not. I think 2020 has taught us that. 2021 has taught us that. So make up in your mind how you're going to respond. And this is the message I want to give you today. A lot of us, we living like we got time. A lot of us living like we understand the timeline of our lives, the timeline for our jobs, the timeline for the lives of our loved ones. We act like we got time. We act like we got time to get it right. We act like we got time to postpone. We act like we got time and we procrastinate. We act like we have time. If 2021 taught me anything, and I want you to feel this in your soul, it taught me this: you don't have time. It ain't no more next year. It ain't no more next month. It ain't no more next time. It's now. It's this moment. Right now in your life. Some of us, we waiting for the perfect time to make a change and to do something. And you're going to spend the rest of your life, your whole entire life, waiting. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of waiting. I understand waiting and being patient, right? I understand that part of it. But there's a part where it's not waiting, it's procrastination. And some of us, we live in procrastination because we've allowed fear to paralyze us. We've allowed people's opinions to paralyze us. We've allowed our past to paralyze us. And we stay stuck. If this year was your last year, how would you live it? How would you show up? Not just for yourself, but for your kids, but for your spouse, for your parents, for your brothers and sisters, for your friends, for the kids that you mentor, for the kids that you teach, for the people that you help. How would you show up? Because some of us, we acting like we got the people around us forever. Forever comes with an expiration date. And some of us, we might not have the same health this year as we had last year. I know somebody got paralyzed last year. Nothing in this world is guaranteed, and when you realize that you operate in a way of healthy urgency, I'm not telling you to be anxious. I'm not telling you to drive yourself crazy by not getting sleep. I'm talking about healthy urgency. To say, you know what, I'm not going to waste a day. I'm not going to waste a moment. I'm not going to waste my life anymore. Some of us, we holding grudges with people that we love. And we too stubborn to apologize. We too stubborn to make it right. And then the next time we talk to them, they're in the casket and we live with grief and regret. Some of us, we got dreams right in front of us. We praying to God to show us the way, and God has already paved the way for you. But you expecting the way to look like a yellow brick road. You expecting the way to look like perfection. And you pause in your life when God has already gave you the tools and equipped you to make it happen with your life. After you finish getting off your knees and praying, it's time for you to walk with your feet and act that out. You have the capabilities, my friend. If you're tired of your health, what are you doing about it? If you're tired of being sick, what are you doing about it? Because some of us, we just pray and we just wait. We just hope and we just wait. And you're doing the same things that got you in this place, and you're expecting those same things to get you out of that place. You can't get out the pit by doing the same things that got you in the pit. So what are you changing? I talked to myself today. I said, Trent, if you don't like what you see in the mirror, if you don't like how you feel, what are you going to do about it? You're going to keep complaining about it? You're going to keep being angry about it? You're going to keep praying about it? Or you're going to do something about it after you pray? And I said enough is enough, because this year is the year. This year is the year. Next year doesn't exist. So I'm going to give my all to my kids as if next year doesn't exist. I'm going to give my all to my spouse as if next year doesn't exist. I'm going to give my all to my dreams as if next year doesn't exist. I'm going to give my all to myself as if next year doesn't exist. I'm going to give my all to my friends as if next year doesn't exist. I'm going to give my all to my purpose as if next year doesn't exist. And I pray to God that next year does exist. But I'm going to tell you one thing. When I meet next year, it's going to meet a greater version of me. When I meet next year, it's going to meet a more leveled up version of me. When I meet next year, it's going to meet a more progressive version of me. I'm sick and tired of just talking about it. I'm sick and tired of just praying about it. I'm sick and tired of just wishing for it. I'm sick and tired. And some of you might not feel this message, and that's okay. But to you in here that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, I know this is piercing you right in your heart. And I'm so passionate about it because I know that this is the message that's going to create the change in your life that you need. That you need in your life. But it comes a point where you have to tell your mind that this is it. Would you stop selling for less if this was the last year? Would you stop staying in the toxic situation if this was the last year? Would you stop staying in things that don't deserve your energy and don't deserve your presence if this was your last year? You think God created you to settle? You think God created you to live broken? You think God created you to live miserable? You think God created you to live depressed? Don't believe that lie. But as long as we stay connected to the strongholds in our life, as long as we willingly stay connected to the chains that are chaining us back to low self-esteem, to chaining us back to depression, that's chaining us back to self-sabotage, that's chaining us back to not knowing our worth, as long as we stay there, guess what's going to happen with our life? We're going to repeat the same cycle. And we're just going to be hyped that the calendar changed and nothing else changed in our life. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you find some healthy urgency in your life and you go every single day and say, man, you know what? I'm going to get the most out of this day. Listen, you're going to have your bad days. You're going to have your days where you fall off. But guess what? You can bounce back when you have that mindset that this year is your year. Why not? Inspiring people, impacting people, helping people transform their life. But you know what? Before I do any of that, in 2022, it starts with you. It starts with me. If I can't get the most out of my life, and I want y'all to understand, man, there's people around you that's watching you. Some of us, we trying to preach to our kids, but we ain't practicing to our kids. And we wonder why our kids don't respect anything about us, because we don't respect ourselves. We wonder why we can't impact people around our lives. And I know sometimes it's hard to impact the people closest to you, but ask yourself, what are you giving yourself? If this year was your last year, because for some people, and I hope it's nobody on here, it is. And I'll tell you right now, if this is my last year, I promise you I'm going to go out with a bang. I'm going to go out celebrating. Don't mourn for me, because this is the year where I get more out of this year than I did in the last decade. And I don't have to talk about it. I'm not into making announcements about it. You're going to see it by how I show up for you guys. You're going to see it how I transform my body. You're going to see it. Because last year was a hard year for me. Last year was a year of me operating at 50%. Last year was a year of me almost losing myself. But I turned, I said, you know what? Not this year, not anymore. This is the year where I come back stronger. This is the year where I come back greater. This is the year where I come back better. This is the year where I raise the ceiling in my life. This is the year where things change. This is the year where I go from average to great. This is the year where I go from great to legendary. This is the year. This is the year. But it's not going to be the year if you don't move with healthy urgency in your life. If you don't face that reality that you've been running from, that reality that maybe that is over, that reality of maybe, you know what, this environment sucks, I don't need to be in this environment, that reality of, man, I'm my greatest opponent. And some of us, we run from that reality. You spend years running from your reality. Face it. Because if you can't face yourself, if you can't face your truth, your life will never change.